Right, if you could tell me about the day that you saw Aaron flagging and what was it about what he did that made you want him?
Um, well, let's see. How many years ago was that? Could that be about 4 years? 5 years ago?
Well, this is his sixth Supernat.
Oh, it's a six? Oh, wow. So that means I'm a little older than I was then. Um, well, first of all, we were at the regional race in St. Louis, and I noticed it was a little different how they were doing with the race directors and calls and things like that. So I remember, I remember listening to the radio and asking what happened, and he was talking about, and it was Aaron talking about what happened in the heat before and the heat before and the heat before, and he just remembered. I'm like, wow, this is amazing. And he was running all this stuff at the same time while he was flagging. Um, but it was just the way the emotions that were in the flag when I looked over, and I just and the way he was waving him. And for people that aren't into racing, they're not going to understand this interview, but it was just amazing. The way everything flowed, and and how he was flagging. I was wondering, who is this guy? And this is Aaron, and so why is he that good? And they're like, I don't know. And I said, well, I need this guy to come and flag for me. There's no ifs or buts about it. And they're like, well, I said, you need to ask him. I said, well, what do you think if in the drivers' meeting we ask him if he would like to be the head flagger for the Supernats? And somebody goes, well, what about the guy that flagged before? I said, it doesn't really matter. If you're better or best, it's just what it's going to be. He's going to have to go do something. We'll find another spot for him. And nobody's into flagging like Aaron is anyway. But he was just so much superior, so much into it, and he's now a part of my whole series. I mean, this is what we do, and has to be there, and he schedules it. He asked me when's this and when is that, and he schedules a year out, and he knows that he's going to be there. And I think this one is the one that as soon as he leaves Monday morning, he starts counting the days, because this is. When from this also, I know he's doing the USAC, he's doing some other stuff, and some other, a lot of doors have opened from because when you're the head flagger at the Super Nationals, which is the largest go-kart race in the world, good things happen. So I mean, so if you can handle this, you can handle anything. So, but anyway, back to the story of that's just how it happened. It just, people ask me, well, why him? Because he's the best. And like I told you, I travel quite a bit, and I go to different countries, and it's been brought up many, many times. The people ask me, who is he? And I said, he's the best. Yeah, so it's just, like I told you guys yesterday, 5-time world champion Danilo Rossi is explaining to me, who is this guy? Who is this guy? In Italian. And when I was in France, they bring it up. And it's just the way it's, that nobody does it. And I, you don't think that you can actually see the emotions from somebody flagging. It doesn't make any sense, but you can. You can just see it as like a soccer player or a tennis player or anything else. The way he does it, the video you showed me yesterday, I mean, everything that he does is just perfect, because he's 110% concentrating on his job. Okay, and not only is he doing his job, but it's the love of his job is more like it, I would say.
Now, you've been to races all around the world. On a scale of 1 to 10, let's say Aaron's a 10, who's the number 2 guy in the world? I mean,
There is no number two. Simple. They just get a flagger, and he's a flagger. I mean, when you go to European races, they have these CIK, they're officials, they've been trained, they go through classes. I don't know if I really, you get trained as you get trained as you go, and you learn as you go, and Aaron has a helper with him, because at the same time while he's counting, listening, 1 to go, 2 to go, black flag, he needs to, he has his helper telling him, okay, to write down the numbers, so on and so forth. But I don't know if there's a 2 and a 3 at all, because they come out, they flag, they get a paycheck, and they go home. They really don't care. So you can't really compare it, because Aaron this is what he loves to do. He shows up and just does what he loves to do, and we all love having him here. That's the best part, because like, you know, high five, everybody knows what he does. And you know, you got to remember, you become a superstar after a while in your own gig and your own deal. You know, everybody knows I run this place because I don't, you know, I have long hair and I stick out. Well, Aaron's the same way. Everybody knows he's the flagger. You know, they're always high fiving, shaking his hand, thank you for what you do, and I think, you know, just that's just simple as that. You know, he's just really. But I think the most important thing that people need to understand, that he's just so passionate about it, and that's what other people don't do. They show up, they do their job, they flag, they go home.
I had a guy tell me once when we were at the track where you picked Aaron.
And people,
Yeah, in Peebly, who said there's nothing like, and this guy had raced for Margay all over the country. He said there's nothing like winning when Aaron is holding the flag. Have you heard that from drivers? Have you ever heard that from drivers?
no, I haven't really heard that from drivers, but you know, I never raced when Aaron's been doing it either, so you know, I wouldn't know. But I can just imagine coming across as, you know, as a podium winner with, you know, him up in the air with two flags going bananas, right? And at the same time, everything is, you know, it's so, you know, picture wise, you got to remember, you know, these are also pics, you know, all the time. So you see the driver with his hands up, and then you see the flags moving at the same time. So, yeah, nobody's really mentioned that to me, but you got to remember too, this is the Super Nationals. They expect him to be there. They know he's there. So I just think it's part of that whole thing. You win here, it's the biggest race in the world, right? So it's just part of the package.
Okay, Tom, I really appreciate it.
Yep.